Just make your 20s humor jokes.
Shut your face, alright? Okay, hey everybody, it's Atlas from Nexus Core doing yet another deck profile. So today I know, right? I have so many decks. Anyway, so today it's it's Murakumo. Not all the Shadow Stitch stuff has... Would you guys shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
Alright, all the Shadow Stitch stuff hasn't been revealed yet, but I will update the deck when that comes out. In the meantime, it is Yasuie and Hyakki Vogue. So starting, we have Onifundo as your starter. Onifundo, his skill is it's Forerunner and then GB1. At the start of your main phase, you can Soul Blast, bounce him to your hand, check top 3, call one of those cards to rearguard, and then at the end of the turn it goes to the bottom. He's really good as a starter. That new Shadow Stitch one is way better, but in the meantime he's pretty good. He gives you extra guard and stuff, so he's nice. Grade 3s, you have for Yasuie.
It's Yasuie.
Yasuie, or however you do it. His skill is when you stride on top of him, you can counterblast 1 and Shadow Clone. That's what I call it when you call 2 copies of a card already on the field, and then at the end of the turn it goes to the bottom, so like Naruto. And then his other skill, GB2, when something's put at the bottom of the deck during my turn, you can just call it back out. GB2 is not used too often, but he's really good for making a lot of pressure really fast without committing to the field. So that's fun. Then you have for Hyakki Vogue Reverse. His skill is when you ride him, you counterblast 2, search the deck for a copy, call it to rear, and then it bounces to your hand at the end of the turn. So he's really good in the early game where you can ride him, get a free attacker, and then at the end of the turn it bounces to your hand, so you have a stride fodder. And then his limit break skill is you can lock 2 cards and give up to 3 copies of him plus 10k. So if, that also works if they happen to be playing the grade 2 game or whatever it is you want to do. So he's good. He also works with the stride. 4 copies of Runestar. Runestar is your Amber clone, so when he's boosted on attack, you counterblast 1, search for a copy of him, call it to rear, and then at the end of the turn he bounces. So he also works good for pressure and works with Kagamijishi, the stride. Then 4 copies of Fujino. So her skill is when another copy of her is placed on rearguard. If she's on rearguard, she gets plus 2k and on-hit unflip, so if you Shadow Clone her, they all get on-hit unflip skills, and it's just a lot of really nice pressure. Meta indeed.
And you combo that with the Fire Sections unit to attack from the back row.
Yep. 3 copies of Bwah. His skill is on hit, you retire him and search the deck for a limit break. So you can search for a copy of Hyakki, for a stride fodder, or if it's early game, you can, and you're grade stuck, which this happens a lot for some reason. You can search for your grade 3 and then guarantee your ride. Miles, the living comment section. Alright, 4 copies of...
No, it's legitimately cool.
Thanks.
It's like essentially cool gimmicks here that never tops.
Yeah, exactly. 4 copies of the GPG. We counterblast a lot in this deck, and your rear guards really shouldn't be around, so there's no reason not to run it. I got it for super cheap back in the day, like $3 per thing, but I don't know what it's at nowadays. 4 stride fodder. It's a G deck, so, 4 copies of Charcoal Fox. His skill is when he's put on rearguard, you pick up to 4 copies of Fox, including himself, and give it all 2k. So if you Shadow Clone, they're typically at around 13. It can get bigger than that, though, so super good on the Yasuie turns. Let's see. 2 copies of Metamorfox. I have the alternate art version of him, I just like this one better. His skill is on call, you pick a lock card and unlock it, so this works with Hyakki Vogue, where you lock 2 cards, then call Fox, unlock a card, then lock those 2 cards and do it again. It's also a good attack against Link Joker, because suck it, Link Joker.
Someone doesn't like Link Joker.
I really don't. Alright. 4...
You like it?
Yeah. 4 heals, because heals... 4 regular crit. It's important that you run, if you're running a 4 of or anything in this deck, make sure it's all the same name, because Shadow Cloning has to do the same name. 4 copies of Cat Devil, which is the Mardal clone. And then lastly, 4 Hidden Scroll, who's a stand trigger. This is super important. His skill is GB1 when he's put on rearguard. You can put him back in deck and shadow clone a thing already on the field. I'll wait till this goes by. Okay, it's gone. It's gone. All right. Anyway, so on call, you put him back in deck and shadow clone a unit. So it's really good if you're on Hyakki and you need to shadow clone something. Also, there's a lot of small attackers, so it being a stand trigger is a good thing. When we get all the Shadow Stitch stuff, it's probably going to be a more stand-oriented build. So stay tuned for that in a few months. But yeah, that's the main deck. For the G deck, you have starting 3 copies of Kagamijishi. So the skill is when a card is put on rearguard circle, if you have 2 copies of it, it gets the ability it gets plus 2k and can attack from back row. So if you shadow clone, boom, it procs instantly. You're going to use this probably all 3 times in the game. He's super important. 2 copies of Hyakki Vogue Tenma, which is a stride that works with Hyakki, which is act still. You choose a copy of Hyakki Vogue, put it back in deck, then choose a unit. It doesn't have to be a rearguard, it can be Vanguard. Call a copy of that from deck, it gets plus 10k and bounces to your hand at the end. So typically what people will do is you ride Hyakki, get the copy, then you stride into this, put that copy back, and just call it back, and it gets plus 10k. So it's a lot of pressure for no cost at all, pretty much.
And goddamn, does he have a stylish fur coat?
I know, right? That thing is like, that thing is slaughtering 101 Dalmatians. Seriously. All right. Yeah. Yep. 4 copies of Homura Raider. I cannot wait until we get that double restand combo, but for now his skill is Counterblast 2, flip up a copy of himself, he loses a drive check, and then after he attacks you, shuffle 3 things of the same name back into the deck and restand. So, typically you shadow clone with Yasuie and then do that. If you did Hidden Scroll, sometimes I'll just have 3 copies of a trigger, so I'll call those 3 down and use that to shuffle back in for him. Either way, it's a good finisher. Let's see, 2 copies of Onifundo, Honey Boo Boo Radar. His skill is when you ride him, you can call something from hand, it gets plus 2k and the ability to attack from back row. So he's in the event that if you're playing against Kagero or something and they blow up your field, you can call something from hand and then use Yasuie to shadow clone it. So he's really good as like a kind of certain matchup stride. 1 Seabreeze, I swear I have the real one somewhere. Because it's a G deck, so Seabreeze is Seabreeze. 2 Murakumo G guards. The skill is when you G guard with it, you can pick a rear guard of grade 1 or higher, move, and then search the deck for a copy, call it guard circle, and then afterward that copy goes to bottom. So it's like trigger thinning, basically, and it's super easy to pull off. 1 Screw, so you save a lot of cards in hand. You're also probably going to have a lot of grade 3s because of Hyakki, so he's really good. And then 1 Dismal, because sometimes you got to protect like your back row, or if you called something to shadow clone, you need to protect it. So that's the deck. If you want to, wait a couple months for the Shadow Stitch stuff, that'll be up. Also, super important announcement. We have started a podcast. It is called Nexus at Night. You can find it on SoundCloud or iTunes or basically anywhere you get your podcasts. We upload hopefully weekly, but we'll see where this goes, and I'll see you guys next time.